Okay, my name is Farid Alvardi and I will explain about language and linguistics. Language is a system of conventional spoken or written symbol by means of which human beings, as members of a social group and participants in its culture, communicate. Encyclopedia Britannica. Expression of ideas by means of speech sound combined into words. Words are combined into sentences. This combination answers to that of ideal into thought, Henry Sweet, an English phonetician and language scholar. A system of arbitrary vocal symbols by means of which a social group cooperates. The U.S. linguists Bernard Bloch and Georg Lestriger. The same feature of language, duality of penetrating, displacement, open the endedness, stimulus freedom, arbitrariness, the human vocal tract. Language has been a communication. Difference between language. Language can differ in fundamental element or in rules combination. The unit rules can be different for all of the modules of language, sound, word, and sentence. But all languages are equally complex. They all have units and rules. Dialects differ in the same way, units and rules. Language change in the same way, units and rules. Children learn language in the same way, units and rules. Any child can learn any human language if exposed to it. Linguistics. The scientific study of language that answers the question, what is language? How is it represented in the mind? A social science that shares common ground with other social sciences such as psychology, anthropology, sociology, and archaeology might also influence other disciplines such as English, communication studies, computer science, and such. History comes from the Latin word lingua, which means language. Ferdinand de Saussure, the father of modern linguistics, in his book called The Linguistic General, proposed the term langue and parole. Langue in general, langue a particular language, parole the language of an individual. Linguistic knowledge based performance. Linguistics studies what people know when they know a language. Most of the time we learn what people know by what they do, but sometimes what people actually do does not reliably indicate what they know. Someone with language still know their language, they just have a medical physical problem performing, doing speech. Many external factors can affect performance. Linguistics abstract away from such complicating factors to study the true system of knowledge. But we must use what people do to discover and test our theories about what people know about language. Much linguistic knowledge is implicit. That is, people are not conscious of why they know. Linguist is someone who engages in studying linguistics, focus on describing and explaining language, not concerned with the perspective rules of the language, is not interpreter, not required to know many language. Goal: to discover the universal concerning language. The field of linguistics: synchronic versus diachronic linguistics, theoretical versus applied linguistics, microlinguistics versus macrolinguistics. Disciplines within linguistics: phonetic, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, language acquisition, others. Phonetic, the study of the prediction and perception of speech sound, is concerned with the sound of language, how these sounds are articulate, and how the hearer perceive them, and relate to the sense of acoustic in that is used much the same technique in the analysis of sound that acoustic does. Phonology. Phonology, the study of the sound patterns of language, is concerned with how sounds are organized in language, examine what occurs to speak sound when they are combined to form a word, and how dispatch sound interact with each other. It efforts to explain what these phonological processes are in terms of formal rules. Morphology, study of word formation and structure. Study how words are put together from their smaller parts and the rules governing this process. Syntax, the study of sentence structure. Attempt to describe what is grammatical in particular language in terms of rules. These rules detail an underlying structure and transformational process. Semantic, the study of meaning, is concerned with describing how we represent the meaning of word in your mind, how we use this representation of construction sentence. Is based largely on study of logic in philosophy. Language acquisition examines how children learn to speak and how adults learn to a second language. It's very important because it gives us the insight in the underlying process of language. Suggests that all language operate within the same framework, and the understanding of this framework will contribute greatly to the understanding of what language is. Child first language acquisition. Children have to learn language from scratch, although the capability to speak inherent in everyone. There are certain milestones and stages of language acquisition during the child's first month and year. Second language acquisition. Some aspect of second language acquisition is similar to first language acquisition. The learner has already acquired learning technique and can reflect on how to learn best. However, learning language depend on the personality, age, intelligence, and active learning strategies of the learner. Order: neurolinguistic, psycholinguistic, sociolinguistic, historical linguistic, anthropological linguistic, pragmatics. Okay, thank you. That's all. Sorry about mistake, and thank you.